just wanted to honor his friend Lewis, and that was Lewis's number.
Me and Lewis met in the 2nd grade through Lacrosse. He moved from Elmont, another town in Long Island, to Northport, and he had signed up for the youth lacrosse program in Northport, and we met through that. And his dad helped my dad. He's an assistant coach, and we just basically met through lacrosse and made our friendship into what it was.
Two peas in a pod. They really were. They really were best friends, and they, the weekends was consumed with what they were doing together. It wasn't a separate kind of thing. They always did something together. They did sports together. They did everything together. They only slept overnight at each other's houses, nobody else's. They were very close, and from a very young age, and stayed that way.
From the moment they met, they were very close. One unusual thing about it was they never went to the same school, and really the only time they really could spend a lot of time with each other was on the weekends, and on the weekends that was the way it worked. Lewis and Drew together.
It just always seemed like I was always included in their family. Summer vacations, they had a summer house that we used to go out there all the time in the summer, and snowboarding trips in the winter, and it was like I was part of their family.
March 25th, it was the first game of Lewis's high school career. Early in the 2nd quarter, a boy from West Islip took a very routine shot, a couple of steps in front of the restaining line. It was an overhand shot. It was not a hard shot, but Lewis was screened. And he moved to his left to get in front of the ball, and his stick didn't get there in time, but he blocked it with his chest. The ball fell in front of Lewis, and he picked it up, started to accelerate out of the cage, and just collapsed. Lewis was in sudden cardiac arrest the millisecond that ball hit him in the chest. And he never regained consciousness, and by the time EMS showed up and defibrillated Lewis, it was too late. So he passed away on the field that morning.
We were in disbelief. We just all got together and got in the car, and I kept telling the boys, I don't believe it, I don't believe it's true. And that when we were driving to the hospital, we still didn't feel that Lewis had passed away until we got to the hospital.
I remember sitting on my couch in my living room, just like in total shock. I mean, it just didn't really seem real for a while. I mean, it's just one of those things that it comes out of nowhere and just totally catches you by surprise, and you really don't know what to think until some time goes on. You can kind of reflect on it.
They decided at the Northport High School that they wanted to retire number 12, and Drew came to Karen and I and said, I'd like to wear number 12 this year, and I couldn't think of a better honor for Lewis.
The following year, not that spring, the next year later, we were leaving to go upstate to play in the state championship, and we brought the bus, and we actually didn't know that we were going to the cemetery before, and the bus just drove there, and we all walked up to Lewis's grave and kind of told him, get on the bus, you're coming with us, this one's for you, and we went up there and we actually won the state championship, and we made a pact to him that we were going to win it for him.
After that game, when they won that state championship, they brought out the trophy, and that team had a banner that they carried all year along with them. It said, LA 12 won in spirit. And I think it was more important for the team to run to the side and unhook that banner from the fence and hold that than it was for them to hold that state championship trophy. It was amazing.
When Lewis passed away, we had found out that had an automatic external defibrillator, an AED, been available on the field, and Lewis would have been defibrillated, he probably would be alive today. And we started the foundation, and We went on a mission to educate people about what happened to Lewis and what a defibrillator was and how that could have saved Lewis had it been on the field.
I think that the count is now 30 lives have been saved since Lewis's foundation has started, and from a direct correspondence to what the foundation does and the awareness that they put out, and Lewis's law with mandating that all public high schools in New York State have to have a defibrillator program. And I think that just Lewis's life, he's saved so many other lives. It was a big part of the decision to come to Virginia is if I could wear number 12. When I was getting recruited by different colleges, I'd ask during the recruiting process if number 12 was available when I'd be coming as a freshman. And luckily, Billy Gladding, Danny's older brother, graduated the senior year before I came, and I was able to take over as number 12 at Virginia. His dad always tells me that he's on my shoulder, when I'm playing lacrosse, and kind of when I usually put on my jersey, I kind of just think about Lewis real quick, and I know he's there, and I know that I'm kind of playing lacrosse for myself and him as well, and everything that we're able to accomplish at Virginia, and what I've accomplished in my lacrosse career is kind of for him too.